Have you ever wondered why the clock always moves forward while your feelings keep circling back to the past? For thousands of years, people have believed that time is a linear stream, an arrow that cannot be reversed. But what if that arrow is only a subtle illusion woven by the mind? Perhaps the clocks on our walls measure nothing at all, only masks hiding an ancient secret beyond human understanding. In ancient lore, sages often spoke of time as a shared dream. They said the past and the future exist only as ideas, that the one true reality is this moment, where you are present, listening. People wake in the middle of the night with the feeling they've lived that moment before, with no way to explain it. That isn't a coincidence. It's a fissure in the veil of time, a place where dimensions of reality collide and blend. When you feel time slow in danger or race by in moments of joy, that's not just a trick of perception. It's the soul's whisper, reminding you that time has no form, no boundaries, no fixed reality. It is fluid, elastic, able even to vanish if you are awake enough to notice. Imagine a reality with no tomorrow and no yesterday, only a present that stretches without end. In that state, every worry about the future and every regret about the past dissolve like morning mist in sunlight. You are no longer imprisoned by schedules, numbers, or preset milestones. You become a traveler across layers of consciousness, no longer bound to biological cycles, no longer ruled by clock hands or calendars. In ancient civilizations like Egypt, Atlantis, and even tribes hidden deep in the Amazon, time wasn't measured by clock hands. They looked to the sky, listened to the Earth's heartbeat, and lived by the universe's cycles. They understood time as a vibration, a kind of energy, rather than a straight line. Through ritual and deep trance, they saw what modern science is only beginning to brush against, that past, present, and future are three layers wrapped around a single core of consciousness. Once you stop treating time as a ruler, you begin to see it as a companion. It doesn't control you, you navigate it. You don't chase time, you move with it. Like water passing through your hands, you can't hold it, but you can feel it. Awakening begins when you stop asking, "What time is it?" and start asking, "What is this now?" Phenomena like déjà vu, prophetic dreams, or the feeling that you've lived a moment before are not random. They're signs that, unconsciously, you've brushed against parallel layers of time. Those instants are apertures, cracks in the shell of reality, through which you glimpse a wider picture. And in that picture, no clock is turning. There is only consciousness, wide as the ocean, reflecting you back to yourself. There's a truth many have never heard. Consciousness doesn't move through time. Time arises within consciousness. For a soul before embodiment, time has no meaning. There is no tomorrow, no yesterday, only pure presence, a way of being untouched by the hands of a clock. But when the soul enters a physical body and begins to perceive three-dimensional space, time appears at once as a concept that limits and structures experience. Do you feel it? The older we get, the more we're submerged in milestones. As a child, you never cared what day of the week it was. Then one day, schedules appeared. The clock started giving orders, and every minute fell under the rule of tick-tock. That's when the mind splits from living reality. We stop being present and become a shadow chasing something called a plan. Look deeply within. Are you living inside an invisible cage called your time budget? Do you wake each day feeling late, rushed, short on something? Short on what? No one really knows. It's just an unseen pressure pushing you to run faster, do more, arrive sooner, as if you're being chased by a formless enemy. And that enemy is the illusion called time. Once you realize that time has no independent existence, you begin to loosen the links that bind your soul. If the past no longer exists, guilt and regret lose their hold. If the future has not yet arrived, worry and fear are only phantoms of the mind. Return to the present, to this very moment, and you'll find a space that is pure, open, and astonishingly still. That is where time has no power. In higher states of consciousness, time is seen as a space you can move through, not a one-way stream. Souls who reach awakening often describe their journey as walking through moments, as if they were adjoining rooms, rather than an irreversible chain. Some, in deep meditation, have met their past self or spoken with their future self. This isn't imagination. It is a genuine experience beyond the scope of present scientific frameworks. If you've ever felt that everything was arranged beforehand, that you knew something before it happened, you've brushed the veil of a timeless reality. You don't need to grasp it with logic. Feel it with the heart. Feel that you are not confined by age, personal history, or the cycle of day and night. You are a presence beyond time. There are moments in a life when time seems to stop. A glance, a breath, the seconds before a turning point. Everything grows dense, as if the world around you has paused. Those moments don't obey ordinary rules, and no clock can measure them. They are evidence that time is not the steady stream we've mistaken it to be. It stretches, dissolves, shatters, and vanishes when you touch the deepest layer of awakening. Have you ever experienced it? A moment when you felt lifted out of ordinary reality, standing outside it all, watching everything unfold like a play in silence? That is a rift between dimensions, where time steps aside and consciousness takes the stage. Not everyone notices. Most pass through without realizing they've touched the most primal truth. Time exists only because you believe in it. In the material world, everything is packaged inside a temporal frame, from death and growth to success or failure. But beyond that material shell, at a higher frequency, nothing is bound by years. Souls don't connect through words, they connect through vibration. And vibration has no age. A soul newly embodied yesterday may carry wisdom older than humanity, and an aged body may house a soul just beginning to bloom. Time does not determine the depth of a soul. Consciousness is the only thing that is truly real. Look to nature. A tree doesn't know how many years it has lived. The wind doesn't know where it began or when it will end. Everything exists in a natural flow, unforced, unhurried, uncalculated. The disconnection began when humans started to measure, control, and impose time on everything, losing touch with themselves, with nature, with the soul deep within. Yet the truth has always been there, waiting for you to remember. Remember, you are not a creature carried by time. You are the one who observes it. Remember, you are not confined by a birth date or a death date. Each breath you take is a rhythm of eternity. Each moment you realize you are alive, present, marks your step out of the labyrinth of time. There are entities that exist in other dimensions who never experience time the way humans do. For them, all events occur simultaneously. Past, present, and future are not 3 points on a line, but 3 faces of the same cube. Once you begin to grasp this, you see that time doesn't flow. It's simply the arrangement of experience so the soul can understand and learn. And when you enter a state beyond ordinary perception, you too step out of linear time. You enter a space where all possibilities are present at once. There is no not yet or already. There is only the absolute present. And in that absolute present, every limit dissolves. There is an awakening every soul must face. The moment it realizes that a whole life does not unfold across a chain of dates, but is a recurring expression of the same presence in many different forms. When a person begins to doubt the reality of time, the door to deeper truth starts to open. Not by reason, but by intuition. The inner whisper you once ignored, now ringing like an ancient bell that rouses a subconscious long asleep across lifetimes. Time, as you knew it, is not a river carrying you along. In truth, you are the riverbank, the rapids, the river itself, and the one who observes it. Every memory you hold and every future you imagine is happening somewhere within the strata of your own consciousness. That is why you can recall a moment from years ago with startling clarity, yet can't remember what you ate a few days ago. The soul does not store time, it stores emotional energy. And wherever that energy still lives, time has no foothold. Your soul does not age. The body may carry time's marks, but the innermost essence remains whole, just as it was in the beginning. Wrinkles are not proof of age. They are maps leading back to deep emotional experiences. Those feelings do not pass, they remain, waiting to be seen with awakened eyes. And when you look back, unbound by the concept of time, you see everything happening now. That is why healing doesn't require time. Liberation can happen in an instant, not because time has closed the wound, but because you finally face it without the past's judgments. When you are truly present, you break linearity. You step into no time, the spaceless, timeless field, where things simply are, unboxed by good and bad, right and wrong, before and after. Spiritual masters understand this well. They don't live in time, they live beyond it. For them, nothing is too early or too late. Every action happens when it's meant to happen. Every word is spoken when it needs to be said. There is no pressure, no hurry. Pure presence isn't controlled by time. It shapes the flow of all phenomena. And you have this capacity too. When you let go of questions like when, what time, or is it time yet, you become free. Freedom isn't the absence of schedules. It's the end of being ruled by the feeling of not having enough time. When you truly know that everything is happening at the right moment, this moment, you enter a state of perfect ease. Time is not just a mistaken concept. It's a mask that hides your true self. As long as you believe in time, you implicitly accept yourself as a limited being, bound to a chain of beginnings and endings. But what if an ending has never existed? What if what we call an ending is only a transformation, a door opening, not a gate slamming shut? Death, long treated as the final stop on time's road, is in truth a shift in the state of awareness. The soul does not die. It simply withdraws from this physical garment and continues in higher planes, where there are no years, no history, only pure presence. That is why souls who have left the material world can still be present in the lives of the living. They have not gone far, they have simply stepped out of time. When you lose someone, you start measuring the distance in time. It's been a year, it's been 10 years. But in truth, that soul never left. You're simply caught in the illusion of time, which is why you can't feel their presence. When you loosen your grip on the idea of time, the sense of loss begins to dissolve. You realize that all souls are connected beyond time, without interruption, without distance, without separation. The same is true of the future. Fear doesn't arise from what's about to happen. It arises from believing it will. When you live inside time, you live inside ifs and thens, musts and shoulds, certainties and maybes. But when you step out of time's loop, you see that all possibilities exist in parallel, right here in the present. And you, with the power of choice, are simply directing your awareness toward one of them. You don't go to the future, you create it. Quantum science has begun to show what the awakened have intuited for ages. Time isn't an absolute, it's a variable of perception. Some fundamental particles can appear to exist in two different states at once. Certain effects emerge only in the presence of an observer, and there are experiments whose outcomes suggest that choices made now can shape how we describe the past, unthinkable to a linear mind. But you don't need science to feel this. You only need to listen. Listen to the stillness after each breath, to the space between two ticks. There, you'll sense a region untouched by time. That is where your soul truly abides, unforced, unhurried, unhindered by any limit. In that space, you are pure light, ageless, nameless, timeless. That is the rebirth countless souls seek, not becoming someone else, but returning to what has always been, a presence beyond time. And within that presence, you no longer fear loss, no longer feel the need to prove anything, no longer cling to plans or goals. You live, not to get somewhere, but to be life itself. When the human mind is ruled by time, every experience is fragmented. What has happened is labeled past. What has not yet arrived is called future. In truth, nothing passes and nothing arrives. Everything simply is, at once, within a field of consciousness in continuous vibration. The soul does not move from point to point. It shifts its frequency to step into layers of reality that already coexist. When you dream, you don't experience time the way you do when awake. A dream that lasts a few minutes can hold a lifetime of experience. Or the reverse. A blink of a dream can leave an imprint you can't forget. That isn't an illusion. It's the nature of existence, where time isn't a straight line, but a spreading wave that touches awareness in cycles your spirit chooses. In sacred moments, when you're deeply connected with yourself, with the universe, or with another soul, do you feel it? Time seems to melt, to vanish. You haven't lost track of time. You've stepped out of the illusion. And the irony is, only outside of time do you truly live. The mind loves control, so it clings to time as a system for predicting, planning, and feeling safe. Yet that very grip throws you into disorder, always chasing an imagined finish line, always feeling late or not enough. How many years have you lived like that, believing you're behind, lacking, not arriving on time? The truth is, you've never been late. You've never been early. You've always arrived at the right moment, in the right place, according to an order deeper than any schedule you can imagine, an order that doesn't come from the brain, but from the soul. When you live from that place, you no longer need plans to feel secure. You no longer let dates and deadlines define who you are. Because you've realized this, you are the one who writes time, not its product. The reason people suffer isn't that things happen too early or too late. It's that they can't let go of the idea that everything must follow a fixed timeline. When you release that grip, you begin to see that everything, love, opportunity, loss, awakening, arrives exactly when your soul has chosen. Not a moment sooner, not a moment later. We simply need time to accept what the soul has always known. Those who reach liberation aren't people with more free hours. They're people who've stopped living by time. They don't pin their lives to future targets, and they don't hang themselves on memories. They live, not to make the most of time, but to immerse themselves in reality. Every action, every step, every glance carries the fullness of presence. That's why they radiate peace, not because they have fewer responsibilities, but because they are no longer ruled by the inner clock. You can live this way too. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to change anything on the outside. You only need to stop and look directly into this moment. This isn't a point between past and future. This is reality in full, expressing itself through you. When you truly understand that, you won't ask, "How long does awakening take?" You'll know. Awakening doesn't require time. It only asks you to release the belief that time is real. Once you set down the cloak of time, you realize freedom isn't in the future. It's in the instant you stop believing in the future. For years, you may have tied your life to someday. Someday it'll be okay. Someday you'll succeed. Someday you'll be loved. Someday you'll be at peace. But the more you chase someday, the farther you drift from yourself. because everything that truly exists isn't out ahead. It's here, now. Time isn't real, so nothing you're seeking can be found by waiting. Peace doesn't arrive tomorrow. It doesn't arrive when circumstances change. It arrives when you stop and allow yourself to be fully present with the life moving through you. Live not as someone trying to make the most of time, but as a being dissolving into the universe's every breath. There, you no longer have to choose between past and future, because both have dissolved. As you free yourself from time, you begin to see with the soul's eye. You no longer see things as points in sequence, but as simultaneous layers of being. A meeting is no longer a random event. It is an intersection of many realities. An upheaval is not an accident, but a signal of energetic realignment. And a beginning never has to wait, for every beginning lives inside the present moment. Time creates separation. It makes you believe there are parts of you that are over, never to return. But in truth, everything you have ever been, felt, or lost is still there, held in a subtle field that has never disappeared. You don't need to go back and fix the past. You only need to meet it in awareness, and in that meeting, the past is released. You don't need to control the future to feel safe. You only need to loosen the belief that it must unfold a certain way. When you do, the future becomes flexible, expansive, free. This truth can be dizzying because it overturns the foundations you were taught. Yet it is also the door out of suffering. No more not enough time. No more too late. No more hurry up. No more if only. All those shackles fall away the moment you realize nothing is rushing past you. You are not being carried off. You are the center of the entire experience, and you are the one setting the rhythm. Feel it with the deepest silence within you. You don't need to grasp it with words. Words are born of time. Truth is not. Truth only asks to be remembered. Do you remember? That feeling when time no longer exists and you are simply part of a boundless current of light. Vast, unborn, undying. In that place there is nothing to prove, no one to please, no dream to chase, because everything is already here, complete within you. Now breathe slowly, close your eyes. Think not of yesterday, not of tomorrow, not of what comes next. Listen to only one thing. You are alive, not in time, beyond it. This is awakening. This is rebirth. This is absolute freedom. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.